to another build video here on the channel. Codename Myth here, and I was a little bit hesitant on releasing this build just because it is a very old build. Um, the video I posted was a very old build. Obviously, you could tell Shadowy Disguise is different now. You hold it, or you don't have to keep pressing it. You press it once, and it kind of just keeps you invisible until you run out of magicka or something like that. So, tested this build out. It still hits pretty hard now with the new meta. You won't be able to kill everybody as quickly as you want to, but you can kind of catch most people off guard. If you've been playing Nightblade for a little bit, you kind of know how you need to move around and stuff like that. This build can definitely catch people off guard, and that's why I'm still posting it. It's still very viable. This build will really shine in no CP, obviously. And most of my builds are kind of for no CP, back when they took out proc sets from PC. Or not PC, from CP. So this is a non-proc build, but it still hits pretty hard. So let's get into it. You want to be stage 4 vamp. I'm stage 3 right now or whatever. Smoke Bear Haunch. And then we'll get a look at our stats real quick. Boon is going to be the shadow for obviously crit damage and crit healing. This is a total like crit build. You want to be Khajiit obviously for the bonus crit passives. And we are sitting at 75% critical damage. Now if you go invisible, it's going to go up to 91%. So this build hits really hard. 54 stamina, 10 and 2 health, just to give us a little bit extra health. And we got almost 20k each resistances. It's not, like I said, this build isn't meant to be a brawler. Depending on who you're fighting, you might not last very long, but if you are shifty, especially if you are used to playing a Nightblade and stuff like that, you can definitely prolong the fight, but this is one of those where you kind of just want to do your damage and get out, and if they aren't dying, then, you know, just reset, and you don't want to be in there fighting because you're not going to be lasting too very long. A little bit over 5,000 weapon and spell damage, almost 60% crit. The penetration looks a little low, looks very low, but I'll get into that in a minute. 1500 stam recovery, almost 1300 mag recovery. You've got 26k max health, 17k max mag, and a little bit over a 25k max stam. Let's get into the skills. Now, this is a 1-bar build, so obviously you can kind of switch this around how you want. The gear, if you like, you don't need Oaken Soul for this to really do a lot of damage. I just think the 1 bar is a little bit easier, at least for me. And this is mainly for ganking. Like, I'm not trying to brawl or anything like that, but it is a fun build to play. But the skills vary. You can change them around. These are just the skills that I found that were best for me. So, Healthy Offering. This is going to be your insane burst heal. I don't think you can play Nightblade without this heal. Even with the new scribing and stuff like that, I think this heal is still one of the best heals. Shadowy Disguise, obviously classic Nightblade. You want to be invisible so they can't see you, come out, strike from the shadows, and do a ton of damage. You really want to use this a lot, and I'll get into that later when we get into the sets. So I would say this heal, we have Rally. Obviously you're not getting the Major Brutality from it because we already have Oaken Soul on, but this is a really good heal. And sometimes it's a passive heal, you know. If you just put it on right before you go in a fight and stuff like that, sometimes you won't even notice it and it'll proc when it ends and it gives you a nice big heal. Or you could recast it and it'll give you like a little heal. But this is a really good skill. I tried moving different skills in this slot, but this is just the best that I found because we have 2 max skills. We don't really have a lot of max mag, so having a heal that's stamina, because we do a lot of heavy attacks and stuff like that with this build, definitely helps out with sustain. Surprise attack. Now, I recently switched this over to surprise attack. I was using concealed weapon for the movement speed, but that's a personal preference. Like I said, you could move your stats into max magicka, so that way you're more magicka based than stam based, but I felt the movement speed wasn't better than having the more damage. Like, this gives a lot more damage, so definitely a better skill in my opinion. And then obviously our Merciless Resolve, our spec bow. This is just going to be a killer, especially now the way they have it. This is really good, and when you do hit them with it, it's going to heal you for 62% of damage, so that's pretty nice. Onslaught, now this ability is slept on, but I feel like it's gotten a lot more popular over the years. So basically, this is the reason why we haven't built anything into penetration. This skill is going to do almost 15k physical damage, and it's going to hit everybody that's near the person that you hit. It's also going to ignore the target's resistances and grant you physical and spell penetration for your direct damage attacks up to 100%. So basically, if they have 40k resistances each, which is a lot, that's like almost tank, you're going to ignore that for 5 seconds, and that's anyone you hit. So let's say you hit this skill, you kill somebody, and they have more resistances than the next person you hit. They're basically going to have negative, like you're going to be hitting them really hard. So that's the reason why we haven't built into penetration and we went all into crit, is because we are using onslaught. Now you could put in cap. It's going to do a lot of damage too, but you're going to miss the penetration. So like I said, if they have 25k penetration, whatever they have, basically it's going to be at 0, and you're going to have that for 5 seconds against anyone. So if you can kill that person really quickly, the next person you're hitting, you might have 2 seconds. You can probably get a heavy attack into a surprise attack, maybe a spec bow at the end, and that might just be enough to kill them. Like, it's going to do insane damage. So that's really good. CP, I'll get into CP real quick. So we have focus mending. It's going to give us 10% extra healing when we are in CP areas. So this is nice. It's going to help our burst heal out. Direct damage attacks done by 6%. Deadly aim, 6% more damage for single target, and backstabber for 10% more critical damage. For our red CP, we got fortified, Pain's Refuge, survival instincts, and celerity. So we're using celerity because we want a little bit more movement speed. Speed is king, especially now with a lot of subclassing running around, like Sorks and stuff like that. They're a little bit more faster than usual, so this will help for people trying to run away from you. You could switch that out for slippery, but I mean, like I said, you're not gonna be in a brawl for the most part unless you have a healer healing you, helping you out and stuff like that. So this just is kind of useless to me. I feel like if I get stunned once, I'm gonna probably burst heal, and then if I can't kill them, I'm most likely gonna die. So, or if I need to like regroup or whatever, I'll just kind of duck out of there. So I took that off. And then let's get into the gear. So the main part of this build, actually before that, we'll go into the food. Smoke bear haunch is the main food you want, and for the potions, just tripods and essence of detect. Now these are really good because if you're going against another Nightblade, obviously it's kind of one of those where whoever hits who first or gets who stunned first probably is going to end up killing the other Nightblade. So this is really good to pull them out of stealth. And then we are stage 4 vamp. Well, you want to be stage 4 vamp because when you run for 3 seconds, it'll make you go invis, so that kind of help you with not using up your mag. So the first set we got here is Archer's Mind. Now this set is in Maelstrom Arena, I believe. So what it's going to do is it's going to increase our critical damage and healing by 8%, and it's also going to increase an additional 16% when we're sneaking or invisible. So that's what I was saying, where this is really huge, where you kind of want to be invisible to open your burst up, and then, like I said, go invisible back again to hit again, because you're going to be getting 24% extra crit damage. As you see, we're doing, like, when we go invisible, it goes from 75 to 91. So you don't have to be invisible, but throughout the whole fight, obviously, but if you can keep going invisible, just even to like do another heavy attack and a surprise attack, or hit your ult or a spec bow, it's going to do more damage than if you were just hitting them regularly, not using your stealth. So you kind of want to use your stealth as a weapon in here, kind of going in and out of stealth through your rotation and stuff like that. I guess we could have went with an axe to get even more crit damage, but I wanted a little bit more weapon and spell damage, so I went with the sword. Precise, obviously, give us more weapon and spell crit. Dummy House, now you can put whatever you want for the one piece. I just went with Dummy House because you get an extra line of mag and stam, and I feel like that'd help us out. Everything's going to be Divines, Tri-Stat, Enchant, and our second set that's going to help us out with a lot of crit damage is going to be Order's Wrath. Now this is a crafted set, so it should be super easy to get. It's just going to give us crit chance, extra weapon and spell damage, and it's going to increase our critical damage and critical healing by 8%. So where this build really shines is we do a ton of damage, and also you can take a bit of damage. Like, you're not going to die instantly, but with the crit healing, it gives you a lot of survivability because you're also hitting hard, and you don't need to spam your heal as much because you have a lot of crit healing also added into it. So like I said, if you're at like low health or whatever, like one healthy offering should bump you right up, and then you could hit your rallying, hit your rally, and you'll also get an extra heal from that, and you have the buff from the healthy offering, so it'll increase it furthermore by 8%. So like I said, everything. Oh, this should be all these should be tri-stat. I guess I missed these two, but we are rocking 1 heavy and 5 medium and then 1 light to get all of the passives. For your jewelry, you want 2 infused. You could go 3 infused if you want. It's up to you. I went with Bloodthirsty. Actually, you could switch this to Swift. Bloodthirsty, I mean, I guess it's just going to give you a little bit more weapon and spell damage, but probably go Swift here, especially since we're not running Concealed Weapon. Just give you a little bit extra movement speed. So the Oaken Soul Ring, obviously, 1 bar build. You're going to hit pretty hard regardless. But like I said, where this build truly shines is from the Archer's Mindset, and like I said, that extra 24% crit damage. Like, you're hitting people and they're like it's like they have no armor on. So let me know what you guys think. Let me know if you guys end up trying it out. If you guys do want to see more build videos in the future, hit that like button, subscribe for more, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.